Hi guys, it's Sunbury Housewives. Welcome back to another DIY. Today I'm going to show you how I do the epoxy resin tumbler doing the wood grain using alcohol inks. If you would, please subscribe, like, and let's go ahead and get into the video. So I'm starting out with a 30-ounce modern curve from the Stainless Depot, and I'm going to remove the lid, and I set all of that right back in the box so that I don't lose the parts. The first thing you want to do is prep your tumbler, and I'm going to show you that I used a sanding block I got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm not going to show you me doing all of it because I don't want to get any sand particles on the other tumblers that I'm working on. So I sand it off screen. Once that's done, I take my 91% rubbing alcohol and I spray my tumbler and wipe it down. Look at all the debris that comes off of this tumbler. The 91% alcohol also removes any oily fingerprints and dust from the tumbler so we have a clean slate to work with. So I'm going to set my tumbler down. I'm going to be a little bit off of screen because I didn't realize that my camera was only pointing towards the tumbler turner, but I do fix that here in a little bit. But I'm just cleaning up again with my fingerprints, an area where I'm going to put a decal, which is the name that's going on this tumbler. I'm currently working on our girls trip tumblers, which there are 12 of us going. So I cut out the first name and then I will go ahead and place it on my tumbler. I just used the Oracal 631, I believe it is, and it's removable vinyl because I will be taking this name up after a couple of steps. So I remove the back from the transfer tape and then lay down the name. I just eyeball it. So that I felt that it was down good enough, which you could see that it was not. I struggled a little bit. I could not find my scraper to scrape it down, so I just grabbed a popsicle stick. I cannot speak tonight. Popsicle stick, and rub it down. And then after a couple attempts, I slowly bring back the transfer tape to just leave the vinyl on the tumbler. Once that alcohol is dry, I'm going to take it outside and spray it with a couple light coats of Rust-oleum spray paint in white. And you can see here the name is still on there. I did not remove it yet. But now I'm going to take my alcohol ink, and I have two colors. I have ginger and caramel. And I'm going to first go over with, I believe I went over with caramel first, all over the entire tumbler. And I just use, those alcohol inks are from Tim Holtz. And I just use a makeup brush. And again, I'm off the screen a little bit, but I do come back in. You'll be able to see in detail more of what I'm doing. But I just take a line, and then I take my makeup brush going back and forth, going up and down the tumbler, and this is going to create the wood grains. You do kind of have to work a little quickly when working with alcohol inks because they dry very quickly. And the more alcohol that you add, the deeper the color gets. And it's easy if you mess up just to go back over it again with more alcohol because it'll move around. And so I'm just going to quickly go through here so you don't watch an hour of me painting this tumbler. Once I get the first coat of the caramel on, I will then switch to ginger. And I'm not going to go over the entire cup with ginger. Don't forget the bottom. Excuse me. And this is the one that I'll use to do the knots. I just do a couple limbs. What would you call it? Wood pieces? Like that, just to give it a different color. And then I'll start creating knots, and you'll see that here in just a bit. In order to do the knot, you just move the alcohol ink up until you find the spot you want to. Then you're going to take your alcohol ink again and just do a dot in the center and move that alcohol back and forth to create the rings of the knot. And just keep doing this as many times as you want. This is all up to you and your preference on how you want your knot to look. And I just do the same thing with the second knot as well. On this tumbler, I just did 2 knots, but you can do as many as you want, or as little as you want, or none at all. And again, don't forget to do the bottom. You just want to make sure that the alcohol ink comes around the side, all makes sense. And now here's what it looks like with all the wood grain on it. And now I'm going to go ahead and remove the letters. You want to be very careful because you don't want to scratch your paint and have to fix it. It's not something you want to have to do. So once I remove that, you'll be able to see the stainless steel peeking through the wood grain. Sorry, again, I'm just off, but there you can see it slightly. So now I'm going to go ahead and put our Girls Trip logo on to the other side of the tumbler. And I'm just using some permanent adhesive vinyl that I got from Amazon. It's red and black buffalo check. So I'm just using some Mod Podge to seal this. I didn't have any spray sealer. Normally you would want to spray seal this before you put any epoxy on it so that the alcohol ink doesn't run. So I just gave it a quick coat of Mod Podge. Now onto my epoxy. I'm going to be doing 25 millimeters of part A and 25 of part B, and mix those together in a bigger cup, because these little medicine cups only hold 30 millimeters of epoxy. Mix that really well until it goes clear. And just a side note, make sure you wear a respirator anytime you're working with epoxy. Because of the chemicals, you don't want to inhale that. So I start with getting the very bottom, and then that little bottom ring, and then I move to the top, work my way down, and then back up again to make sure that the entire tumbler is completely covered with epoxy. Once I get all the epoxy on, I will take my torch and I will go over the entire tumbler to pop any micro bubbles that there might be. And I let this spin for 8 to 12 hours. I ended up putting on a total of 3 coats of epoxy on this tumbler. Here it is all done. I absolutely love the wood grain, how it came out. I know the girls are gonna love it too. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a great big thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time.